America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Call the meeting to order. Good evening. Thanks for coming. I would just like to introduce those around the table. So we have Christine Keller, our town clerk, John Paciotti, town councilor, Councilor Stephanie Thibodeau, and vice chair, town manager Michelle Flewelling, Peter Lawrence, town councilor and secretary, myself, Matt Townsend, council chair, and on Zoom will be Dwayne Bickford. So the first item tonight is going to be a presentation to the council from First National Wealth Management. And so if we have Matt Weaver, and so I'll let him lead the way. Thank you for coming.
One Matt to another. Good to see you all again. It's been about a year. I provided a performance sheet here from 2023. I thought we'd have a little look back before we get into the portfolio and year-to-date numbers. So 23 was a good year for markets, for equities and bonds as they recovered from those rate hikes, from the Fed's rate hikes. Later in the year, later in 23. But if you look at the fiscal year-to-date column, sort of in the middle of this sheet, you'll see that the town's account returned a little over 10% for the year. We're very pleased with that. So both sides of the portfolio, both bonds and equities, appreciated in value last year. So in dollar terms, the town made just over $450,000 in the mix of accounts that we have, the trust funds. So very, very pleased with how the portfolio performed. As you look down through the columns, you have the different asset classes, and the large cap S&P 500 did the heavy lifting in terms of positive performance of 25%. But as you can see, all the asset classes did pretty well. Mid cap up 13%, small cap 15%. We have some international exposure. Those did well. And then down at the bottom where we have about 52% of the town's funds are in bonds or CDs. Dollar terms, it's about $2.5 million. They return just over 5%. So as the Fed raised rates, our strategy was to start to look for CDs and bonds out there that were throwing off some income of, well, when the Fed started, we're closer to 4%. Now, we're 5% on the Fed money rate. So we still have an inverted yield curve, which has been going on for a while now. Sort of a strange phenomenon when you think about buying a 10-year treasury, you get 4.5%. You have to take that risk of owning it for that long, or you can put your funds in a money market and get 5.2. But with that being said, it's our strategy to lock in some of these 5% CDs now, with the Fed sort of indicating that they might cut rates a couple times later this year, depending on inflation data, of course. But if that were to happen, then you're going to have rates come down slightly, and we want to get what we can in terms of yield right now while we can. So, for instance, the other day I purchased a Morgan Stanley CD for the town, going out 3 years. I'm getting 5.2%, and that might equal the money market rate right now, but from a year from now it might not. When money market rate might be 4%, and we're locked in at 5.2 on that CD. So that's sort of what we're doing in terms of making sure that the town, that this is a fairly conservative portfolio. You only have about 35% stock exposure. The rest is in bonds, CDs, and cash. We want to lock in this 5.5% rates now and have them for 2 to 3 years in case rates were to go down. If they don't, if we still have rates going higher, through this year, next year. We have plenty of liquidity. We have over $400,000 in money market funds to take advantage of higher rates. So, it's guessing where rates are is as difficult as guessing where the stock market's going. So you have to lock in those rates when you can, but also be flexible in case rates continue to go higher. Just getting into the larger packet here and going over the portfolio quickly. You can see the allocation at the top of the page. Like I said, a little over $400,000 in money market funds, a little over 8% of the portfolio, 33% in stocks, and the rest in the bonds and CDs. Going to page 3, shows the list of equities that we're invested in. We have a mix of both individual stocks and mutual funds and ETFs. We have Alphabet, Amazon. That's sort of the growth component there for individual equities, but we also have stocks like Bristol Myers, General Mills, Johnson & Johnson, Microsoft, that are more value oriented and throw off a dividend. And just to supplement those equity positions, we also have mutual funds that give us exposure to all the markets. So you saw those returns in small cap, which is smaller companies, smaller domestic companies. We have mid cap companies, and we have the international exposure. So that's our process, investment process, to make sure you have a diversified portfolio. From year to year, you have certain markets that'll outperform others. We just want to make sure that we have exposure to all of them, and the more diversification we have, the lower the risk in the portfolio. Moving on to page 4, at the bottom there, you'll see some of the fixed income investments. And on the far right is the current yield of those investments. And what you'll notice is that you'll see some that are throwing off only 1.5%. They were purchased at when rates were much lower. And then you have others that we've purchased recently that are throwing off north of 4 or 5%. In fact, there's a Goldman Sachs bond in here that's 6.15 that we bought about 5 months ago. So we also have a mix of bond funds in here from Vanguard that provides liquidity. If Michelle sends an email or Sue and asks for a large distribution, we don't have to sell a CD or a bond. We can just sell the bond fund and have the proceeds the next day. And that's why we do that, for liquidity purposes. So that's sort of an overview of the portfolio. We're very pleased so far this year. We're up a little over 3%, despite what's happened, in the last week or so. And the reason that we've sold off here recently is because when interest rates rise suddenly, when they go up 10, 15, 20 basis points, typically equity markets sell off. And we're just giving some of the gains back that we've had so far this year. So we'll continue to do what we're doing and buy high quality fixed income for the town and make sure that we're managing risk. And as a fiduciary, that's our job. And I'll take your questions.
Thank you, Matt. I appreciate it. Questions from around the council?
No, just thank you.
Yeah, I think one that I had, and you actually answered it already, was the chance to lock in at some of these. So you already talked about CDs, and I was going to ask about that. And so you're obviously your game, so you're way ahead of me. But I think that would be the one that I was looking at, so we can help kind of lock us in for a little while. So that's good.
Yeah, and the reason it's CDs, not, for instance, Treasury bills, is because CDs typically have a rate of return that's about 50 basis points over a Treasury. And as long as you keep your exposure to any individual bank or money center under that 250,000 FDIC, the town's fully insured. So if something were to happen to one of these financial institutions, town's going to get paid. So that's our thought process there.
Very good. Very good. Other thoughts?
Thank you. I just
Good.
hope for a successful year.
Yeah.
That's it.
Thank you so much. Thanks for
Thank you.
coming.
Thank you.
Thanks for presenting. So that'll take us to our first order of business, which are the public announcements. Details may be found at www.fairfieldme.com. Number one, Fairfield is still hiring in all departments. Contact the town office. Number two, the fourth quarter property taxes are due May 8th, 2024. Number three, the annual town budget meeting will be held at the community center on Monday, May 13th, 2024 at 6:30 p.m. Number four, the MSAD number 49 annual school budget meeting will be held at the Lawrence Junior High on Tuesday, May 15th, 2024 at 7 p.m. Bruce, how you doing? Annual spring cleanup is scheduled for Monday, May 13th to Friday, May 17th. There are changes to the program. Brochures are available at the town office. Number six, the Lawrence Public Library comprehensive program details online and via the LPL social media. Wednesday, 10:30 a.m., story time and crafts. Thursday, 1 to 4, coffee and cribbage drop-in. Friday, 1 to 4, and Saturday, 10 to 1, the Lego Club drop-in. May 1st, 3:30 p.m., Friends of the Library volunteer coordinating meeting. And May 16th to the 31st, the book sale. So I think good things going on all around town. The second order of business are the public hearings, and we have none. So we'll move on to the third order of business, the public comments. Limit of 3 minutes. Members of the public may speak to the council or request opportunity to speak on a specific item that is on the agenda, or may email comments for council to info@fairfield-me.gov by 4 p.m. day of the meeting. Submitted content may be read aloud at this time. Stephanie, did you have anything you wanted to add?
No.
Christine has already given the
No.
guidelines.
No, is there anybody that wanted to speak on an article? No?
Okay.
Any other public comments?
This is all new to me.
Seeing none, I'm glad you're here.
Well,
Yeah.
if you have something that you wanted to talk to the town council about, now is your opportunity to do that. Okay.
And if you want to get up and read a sonnet, you can do that too. But as long as you keep it to 3 minutes. So the fourth order of business are reports from staff and committees. Our first one is our town manager report.
All right. Good evening, everybody. So since we last met, one, you did have on Thursday, following your last council meeting on April 11th, was the joint meeting with the Benton Selectmen and the Fairfield Town Council regarding the organizational and operational analysis or the audit of the fire department. That meeting is now posted on Crossroads TV, the town, and the fire department's Facebook pages. So it is out there. Also on Vimeo. We were looking to find out why it wasn't actually on YouTube, and Chad is looking into that. But that meeting is out there for folks to take a look at that, and that report is now on our website as well, if you needed to take a look at that. April 16th, I attended the KBCOG Board of Directors meeting, and also on the 16th, we held the PFAS committee meeting, which Councillor Townsend will report on. April 23rd, which was yesterday, I attended the Municipal Day event at CMP in Augusta. This is the second year that they've held this event. And we will be working with them to schedule an informational session here for residents regarding the multitude of assistance programs that they have, especially as folks are installing heat pumps, or if you have, say you're someone who is on oxygen or have CPAP machines, those sorts of things. There are various different programs that they offer. And sometimes just explaining how your utility bill works and sort of help folks better prepare. So we'll be working on that. And then today, the code enforcement officer and I did meet with DEP regarding the state's future brownfields application. They are looking to see whether or not there's anything that needs to have an initial assessment done here in the town of Fairfield. In wake of our recent flooding that we've had here, as well as a community that's been relatively hard hit with PFAS, they were wondering if there was any assistance they could help provide us with other brownfield locations, so we talked with them. There really actually isn't much within the community, but we are working on that, and we'll be getting them a list of what we do have. And then also just to give you a heads up, last week I did have an interview with a reporter from the Bangor Daily News for their health and wellness section. They were also going to be reaching out to Chairman Townsend regarding the new EPA standards for PFAS in drinking water. I'm not sure when that article will actually be posted. I know it hasn't gone out yet, but we'll keep you updated once we hear it's out there. And that's it for me.
Thank you, Michelle. Any other questions for Michelle? Very good. Stephanie, you want to give the economic development?
Well, we're meeting in 2 weeks on the first Tuesday of the month. We did get 5 people to help with the business directory, and I thank you all for that. Hopefully, they'll all be done by June 1st, so we can hand it over to Christine when it's all done and updated for her. So we'll see. So that's it.
Thank you, Stephanie.
You're welcome.
Here, I think probably the buildings is probably on, just like
On hiatus.
Yeah, yep. We all do that, but thank you. So for me, I had the, as Michelle just talked about, PFAS committee meeting on the 16th, and that was with the Department of Ag, or now the Department of Ag, Conservation and Forestry, or DACF, from the state of Maine. And we discussed, the changes the things that they are involved with. So looking at their whole program over the last 4 years of initially finding where the areas were, dealing with and their focus is really more on farmland and farms. And so the $60 million that's out there for looking at so for water supplies, there's looking at potential remediation, looking at potentially a kind of exploratory site for the state. So that could be in Fairfield, might use one of the farm sites and see how to work with PFAS going forward. Also working with things like mental health for the farmers, potentially looking at the purchase of property. So a number of different things in that $60 million fund. You look at, we talked about it, and I would say that my general impression was that the department was very forthright in their assessment and what they're doing, and so there was no hidden agenda that we didn't feel. It was a very constructive meeting. I think the things we look about going forward are, so what does it look like if a farm decides to sell their property, and now that the state of Maine owns that property? They are adamant that they want that farmland to stay farmland. That's what they say right now, but we'll see going forward. And how does that affect our tax base? How does it affect this town long-term? So those are the questions we had. I think some of the other areas along that line are, and the reps could not necessarily answer that for us because they're not really in the DEP, but talking about the new changes of our standards, so dropping to 4 parts per trillion, and what does that look like? So all of a sudden, town of Fairfield gains another 110 positive wells that would be eligible for filtration or some type of remediation that way. As a group, we are putting a letter together to actually send to council, recommending that Fairfield applies pressure in a polite way to make sure that we are at the front of the line for any additional funds as we're going forward, because we have the greatest affected area. So I think that's important that Fairfield does not lose their prominence in this crisis, and that we are still really focused on. And so that's one of the things as a group that we want to move that forward for us. So there's a lot to be done, and I think as a group, we were really looking at how to, the long-term, the protection of the town and the people of this town. There's a lot of focus, obviously, on this group, talking to the DACF, talking to the farming situation, but how does that also affect people who do not have farms, and they are now affected, and where is that funding coming from? And there's several pots of money there, and it's how to look at all those options. So I think it was a very constructive meeting, gave us more things to think about and more things to work on, but I thought the committee was, we had a good conversation. I think we're moving forward. John, you were there.
He was not there. John was not
You
there.
were- but you weren't, but,
I had another,
But Max, Kenny was there.
Yeah.
If you want to say anything about that, Max, if you want to speak to that, you're on the committee. Anything you wanted to wrap up or add to what I said?
No, I think you covered it.
unfortunately, I
Yeah,
had
no, you were,
another,
yeah.
had
You were
another
at-
meeting.
You were at the,
I had an annual
Yeah.
meeting that I had to,
oh, you're good. Yeah,
Do.
I was starting to think of anybody else who wanted to chime in. Michelle, obviously you were there.
Well,
Things that we might wanna
just
add.
we have posted on our Facebook page various different notices from DACF. This is a program that they are still currently working on, and not all of the levels of the programming are available yet. I did receive an email after the meeting thanking us for inviting them to come to speak with us, and that as soon as the various different levels that are not ready yet are ready, they will make sure that they get forwarded so that we can get those posted and put out to folks. The program through DACF with PFAS and affected farms only became live in March, so it's relatively new, and they're still working through those processes, but it was definitely, it was a great visit, so very informative.
As you brought up, I think, Michelle, one thing that they're working on is putting together a toolkit for affected individuals and towns. And so that's one of the things, I think the town has done a good job of actually providing a lot of information that is accessible. But that's one of the things as a committee we wanted to do is provide a clearinghouse going forward. And this is one of those things I think can give us a great step up on that process. Any thoughts or any questions for me?
No.
Okay. Thank you. Very good. Thank you. The next committee that I'm on and reporting for would be the Good House. So we are meeting actually tomorrow night at 6 p.m. right here. So we'll have more information soon. So now we get to move on to the fifth order of business, which is the consent agenda. These items are considered routine and standard business and therefore will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a council member so requests prior to consideration of this portion of the agenda, in which event the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered next on the agenda. Item 24-57, order the Fairfield Town Council hereby waives the reading of and accepts the minutes for meeting number 2024-07 held on April 10th, 2024.
So moved.
no, it's separate.
Oh, that's right, never mind.
Excited, though.
Yes, I am.
I like the energy. Item 24-58, order the town council hereby approves treasurer's warrant number 114, general fund, in the amount of $243,558.46, not limited to, but including MSAD 49, motor vehicles, Summit Natural Gas, and health insurance.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. Any discussion? Yeah, roll call. Christine?
Townsend?
Aye.
Thibodeau?
Aye.
Lawrence?
Aye.
Bickford?
Wait,
Aye. Thank you.
microphone's
Jody.
off.
Aye.
Very good.
Motion carries.
We're good, Dwayne. Thanks for being here. Will take us to our sixth order of business, to take action on the following items of business as read by the council chair. Item 24-59, ordered that the town council hereby considers and awards bids received for road paving and the reclaim to be expended from the Public Works Paving Reserve accounts.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. Any discussion? We'll probably want to. Bruce, do you want to? Sure.
Because we need a name.
Yeah, exactly.
You're up.
Come on. What you got for questions?
Well, on the street paving, when I'm looking at the reclaim and then the shim, can you explain what that really means for the public, please, Bruce?
So reclamation is when they come in and basically rototill the road, turn it back to dirt. Okay. Shim and overlay, they just come in and they don't do anything with the existing pavement other than sweep it off, put a small shim coat to take the sags out, and then overlay it with another inch of material.
Okay. And
Remember when the state came in and they paved just those little bits of ruts on Western Ave? That's very similar to like what a shim
Right.
coat would look like.
so, when the whole Newhall project that's going to be taking place, that is separate from what all of this is here?
It is.
And why is that?
Because I received a grant, the town received a grant for that, because it is a state aid road. So the state is paying 50%. We'll pay the other 50.
All right, and that is coming up soon, isn't it?
That is.
So that'll be a separate, wow, we're going to have 3 activity sites. It's
gonna be a busy
What's in
summer.
here, Newhall Street and then Route 201.
Yes.
Oh, well,
Yes.
It's going over the shortcuts to get around.
we're going to have detours all over the place. But I thank you for doing this. The work that Roundy's did was, last year, despite all the rain, was it Roundy's?
No.
No, which
No,
one
that
was
was
it?
Von Thibodeau last
Von
year.
Thibodeau.
Yeah, Roundy's actually did the MPI work for us on West and Savage.
That's what it
When we redid
was.
that, which
That's
was,
what
what,
it
2
was.
years ago?
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
So it's good to get somebody back that we know will do a good job.
I think seeing all these names, we actually have dealt with them, and the bids are all fairly close.
Yes, it was real tight bidding this year.
So, but I think you'd be comfortable with any of those, but I'm definitely recommending Roundy's at this point.
Yes.
As the low bid.
That's correct.
Thank you, Bruce.
I'm just going to hang tight. 'cause the
Good,
next-
good
next
idea.
three I'm
Good
gonna
idea.
do.
Good idea.
You're on for a while.
So any so just to amend,
Get a motion by Lawrence, seconded by Pachani.
Make a motion, we accept Rowley's paving for $512,465.50.
I second.
more motion, or more discussion, sorry.
Yep.
All right. So all those in favor?
Now we have to do a roll call.
Yep,
Ready?
yep.
Townsend?
Aye?
Thibodeau?
Aye.
Lawrence?
Aye.
Bickford? Aye. Pachani?
Aye.
Beautiful.
Motion carries.
Item 24-60, order the town council hereby approves up to the amount of $96,270.70 to the Maine Department of Transportation for the Main Street sewer manhole modifications in coordination and collaboration with the State of Maine DOT Main Street Route 201 project to be expended from the sewer repair and replacement reserve account. MDOT adjusts 26 structures at $3,187.95, equaling $82,886.70, and the MDOT to repair 4 structures at $3,346, equaling $13,384.
So move.
Second.
Any discussion, questions? I mean, I think it's something, basically it's there, just lifting up for the part of the project, so if people don't understand that.
And we're responsible for all of this, $107,306.70.
That's correct.
That is our municipal responsibility.
Yes, that's
And it's
our sewer manholes.
Our sewer.
Just remember too,
The storm drains the state pays for, there's 10 manholes that are owned by Kennebec Sanitary Treatment District that they will be paying for.
Okay.
And like when they'll do some work, Water District as well has.
Water District
Has multiple structures
a lot of
within
gate valves that
the
are
project as well.
part of
Yep.
it.
I see a typo, because I know Matt just mentioned the top 2, but on this memo, you got FW Webb wasn't mentioned inside the,
It's another, there's multiple articles here that you have to,
Okay.
that are concerning that memo.
all right.
Yeah.
So they're
no
all
problem.
coming.
Okay.
And so just to explain, and this will apply to everything, all of the next three articles are all coming from the sewer repair and replace account.
Yep.
The current balance in the sewer repair and replace account is $83,594.51. It's roughly a $57,150 deficit of everything that you need to replace currently. But what you need to keep in mind is that the sewer budget is being set. These expenses won't be paid out until the next fiscal year. And the appropriation going into the repair and replace account for this year's budget will cover that 57,000 deficit. So the math right now appears that it's going in the negative, but it actually won't when the bills actually have to get paid. So I just wanted to explain that.
So I'm on septic, so this is all
Right, so this is
different.
town sewer.
Town sewer.
Right.
So does this mean an increase on sewer bills for our taxpayers?
Not at this time. So we're still developing the sewer budget for 24, 25, as well as the Crossroads TV budget. You'll start getting that. You should have a draft by your next meeting in May for approval at the end of May. And at this time, based upon the increases that we've received and what I've looked at, I don't think we're going to have to do a rate increase, but I'm not certain of that yet. So we won't know until those number gets together. But what we had appropriated last year for repair and replace was $30,000 for the year. But we also have an equipment reserve that we put $60,000 for the year in. And the goal for this year is to swap that appropriation because the equipment reserve has over $200,000 in it. Well, actually, it has almost $300,000. It's $290,000 in it. So we're going to just switch that. So even that, normally we increase those by $5,000 every year. But even at last year's appropriation, the $60,000 more than covers that $57,000 deficit. So this, though, is a prime example as to why those accounts, we need to start seriously looking at those repair and replace numbers, because should we have had another project this year or another major malfunction, the funding wouldn't be there for that. Right, so there's an undesignated fund balance for the sewer, and you could draw off from that. Originally, when we started looking at this, we had thought that our account balances already covered the work that was done on Western Ave, and come to find out that didn't happen. So what we had to pay for the Western Avenue project was $27,000, which we just paid a month or so ago for last summer's project. So that messed our numbers up a little bit, but it'll be fine. I'm not worried about it.
So my question is, right now, listening to what you're saying, how often do we have to replace the manholes? Is this a yearly thing?
No, what happens is it gets done within the projects. So every year when we do a paving project, so there's a bunch of paving projects that we've planned that Public Works will actually go in and take the manhole structures that are currently there on the in-town streets, and they raise and lower those as well. This project here with DOT and the fees at DOT is because it's a DOT project.
Right.
And it's the DOT contractor.
All right, so we have a plan, so to speak, on road repairs for our town. And so every year, this has to be covered.
Yeah, and so, right.
Right,
And every
so-
year we take those into consideration as to what kind of structures need to be moved with it when we're planning out the cost of repairing any of our in-town streets.
All right, so this
Some
is
of
a
our
yearly
sewer lines have
expense.
a lot of them have been replaced, and work has been done in recent years. So this just simply is because of the fact that the project's coming through and it's a large stretch.
Yeah, so this is really a yearly expense. And you know, we just walk over a step on them, on these things. You don't really think about them when you do it, so it is a yearly expense, okay.
Only when you run over them with your car.
Yeah. Yeah.
We had a motion, a second for 2460. And so roll call on that.
So, just, was there the friendly amendment for FW Webb?
No, that's not this
Oh,
article.
no, sorry.
Nope.
So no.
I've changed this thing so many times, I'm sorry about that. Townsend,
Aye.
Thibodeau,
Aye.
Lawrence,
Aye.
Bickford. Aye. Shoddy.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Nice. Thank you very much. Item 24-61, order the town council hereby considers and awards proposals up to the amount of $11,036 for the Main Street sewer manhole modifications in coordination and collaboration with the State of Maine DOT Main Street Route 201 project to be expended from the sewer repair and replacement reserve account.
So move.
Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion.
This is the one that needs to include FW
Okay.
Yep, sorry.
And friendly amendment to include FW Webb.
Second.
Second?
Okay.
I think, any discussion? Oh, good. So we're ready for a roll call.
Townsend,
Aye.
Thibodeau,
Aye.
Lawrence,
Aye.
Bickford,
Aye.
Toddy.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimous.
Item 24-62, order the town council hereby considers and awards proposals up to the amount of $33,438 for the Newhall Street Sewer Main Replacement in coordination and collaboration with the MPI Newhall Street Project to be expended from the Sewer Repair and Replacement Reserve account.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second, discussion. Nothing else on that.
No.
This one would be for Ranger Construction to
Yeah.
do the work.
Yep.
Yep, so do you need a friendly amendment there?
I would like that very much.
Friendly amendment for Ranger winning the bid.
Thank you.
And a second.
Second?
That was Lawrence, was the second?
Yep.
Okay.
So all those in favor, we can move to the roll call.
Townsend,
Aye.
Thibodeau,
Aye.
Lawrence,
Aye.
Bickford,
Aye.
Toddy.
Aye.
Unanimous.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Bruce.
Okay.
Item 24-63, order the town council hereby confirms the town manager's appointment of Chad Morrison as police officer.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. Chief Gould, you want to say anything? Speak on. That'd be great.
Oh, crap.
Yes, we hired two people, and one has completed his, the second phase of his reserve training. He will start working the road, well, he actually started working the road a couple of days ago. He will be in training until right around January. He should complete his training in January and be on the road at that point. Mr. Morrison's local to the town. He has 3 children, lives right here.
Saw the story. It looks great. I'm sure you're very happy to have an addition, and so we are as well.
We are, yes.
Thanks for your hard work and continuing to try to recruit and add. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
So any more discussion? Good. Roll call.
Townsend,
Aye.
Thibodeau,
Aye.
Lawrence,
Aye.
Bickford,
Aye.
Toddy.
Aye.
Unanimous.
Item 24-64, order that the town council hereby authorizes the treasurer to accept an earmarked donation restricted designation to the Lawrence Public Library from the estate of Paul R. Getchell in the amount of $67,465.63 allocated to the Lawrence Public Library donation account, and authorizes the town manager to facilitate the State of Maine Somerset County Probate Court Docket number 2023-0223, waiver, release, and indemnification.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. So, any discussion?
I'm just thankful, very grateful.
Yep. Very nice.
I'm sure Alyssa is as well. So, yes. So, always nice to be remembered after, and so thank you for Mr. Getchell for remembering the town and remembering the library. Motion to accept, so we roll call.
Townsend,
Aye.
Thibodeau,
Aye.
Lawrence,
Aye.
Bickford,
Aye.
Toddy.
Aye.
Motion carries, it's unanimous.
This point, we have to actually move on to our 7th order of business, which is our council workshop and other business. There is no workshop, so we have discussed other council business. John?
I'm good.
Stephanie?
The Somerset County Budget Committee is meeting Monday, and we will be reviewing the sheriff's office and the corrections budget lines.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes, definitely, I think you've been working hard on that end, and there's several other members have been looking out for us, so I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Dwayne, anything to add?
I have nothing.
Thanks for being here, so I appreciate it. Peter?
Just on Saturday night, the Granger's having their supper from 4:30 to 6.
What's on the menu?
I saw the
It's all good.
flyers. It's all good anyway, so I saw the flyer.
I saw it too, and I'm thinking, I'm actually available, so I might have to stop
Food.
by. Food, good food. Food. So yeah, come on out, support the Grange and support the town. For myself, I have nothing really, I guess at this point. I think, to me, I think the PFAS committee, that was really important. And I think the change of the standard and how it affects the town.
Yep.
The fact that we must not lose track of the people that are affected, and we're going to be another additional 110 wells. So that's going to continue to affect this town. There is a lot of good work done. I think the Department of Agriculture working again on remediation, looking at everything that that encompassed their, the things that they are working on. I was really happy with what they're doing, but it just shows that there's a lot to be done, and that definitely is going to be an interesting time. We must continue to kind of advocate for the town of Fairfield as we have funding. So that was my one big thing.
I have one thing for you, and I probably should have put it on here as an item, but we've had several requests from folks who would like to have access to the basketball court outside of this building back. So if there's no objections from the town council, we'd like to find a day and get it scheduled to get that rink taken down, and we'll get it in storage somewhere where it's safe. So.
Yep, good, thank you. I think that works. I think we
idea.
talked about getting through the April vacation, and we made it through April vacation, so I think that's a good timing.
Yes.
Yeah. And will this be a future item?
It will be, because the council will have to decide prior to the end of June whether or not it's something that you're going to go forward with the purchase or not, so.
So I look for volunteers to tear it down, or?
That would be great if volunteers would like to come and help take that apart. We had a substantial number of volunteers that helped put it together. Just not sure if folks are interested, maybe reach out to the town office so that we can maybe try to get a final date and get that publicized and put out. But we'd definitely like to get that done probably prior to the end of next week.
If there's
so.
volunteers out there, make sure you bring mallets.
Yes, rubber
Trust me.
mallets to get that apart, so.
Thank you very much, Michelle.
Thank you.
Oh, I have another question for Michelle. Any update on the engineering for the fire department, doing that drilling?
Dirigo Engineering has done their portion with looking at grades and has reported that to Summit Geotechnical.
Okay.
I have not heard when they're going to start yet. I know they've been there at least once, but what their official date is yet, I'm not sure.
Okay.
But I know Dirigo has done, they reported this past week. Yeah, I think it was Monday I came in and got the report that I was just CC'd on as they were sending it to Summit Geotechnical, where they've done the elevations.
Okay.
What we're finding is the side of the building that's towards the Gerald is what is down anywhere to an inch to sometimes more than an inch differential between the other portions of the building. But
So after they finish that, we're going to a final report?
yeah, you'll get a final report
All right.
from everybody, and that'll come back here to you. Yep, similar to what they did when we did the police department.
Okay.
Okay.
The next regular meeting of the Fairfield Town Council will be on Wednesday, May 8th, 2024, to be held as a hybrid meeting in council chambers and via Zoom at 6:30 PM. At this point, go into recess.
Motion? Go ahead, Peter.
Make a motion to go in recess?
Second.
Okay. Lawrence, Thibodeau. Townsend,
Aye.
Thibodeau,
Aye.
Lawrence,
Aye.
Bickford,
Aye.
Chotty,
Aye.
unanimous. We only have one document for you to sign.